Visuals now also emerging. More visuals from Iran. Dozens of US Tomahawk missiles were seen flying over the Qadr Karam of the Kurdistan region in Iraq towards Iran. So visuals emerging of the US Tomahawk missiles which were headed to Iran. These visuals, of course, can be seen by our viewers. Tomahawk missiles fired heading to Iran. I think over Iraq is where these visuals have come in from. Major General Mathur.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. See, the point is the kind of firepower that the Americans had amassed all around Iran over a period of last 2.5, 3 months. That one, it was very, very clearly known that they will use every possible weapon system. Now, this Tomahawk missiles probably have been launched from USS Georgia, which is a submarine, and these are the missiles which are going to be pinpointedly hitting the targets. Now we are talking about defense minister having been killed and IRGC commander having been killed. Why they have been killed? Because the entire offensive has been planned in a manner in which they have worked out a list of targets. And the topmost list of targets included the political leadership and the IRGC leadership of the Iranians. And the results have started coming in. A defense minister going and IRGC commander going, it's not a very easy thing to do. Second thing is what they have this time around done. This time around they have suppressed their air defense and electronic warfare capability. That is why you see these Tomahawk missiles without any interpretation or interception or any destruction to them. They are going and hitting their targets. So that is very, very important, that you have to first suppress the electronic warfare capability and the air defense capability of the intended target area, and then do it. And now, having done that, now I can tell you that with lot of freedom, the American and the Israeli aircrafts are going to fly over Iran this night. This you must. That's my feeling, and you will find that a much more devastation is likely to be caused. Unfortunate, but it will also result in collateral damage, and this collateral damage is most unfortunate. But you can do very little about it when you are doing so. Imagine when the Iranians are firing 1,000 missiles or 2,000 rockets. Are you trying to tell me that all 2,000 of they will go and fall on the military targets? No. So there will be collateral damage. This is an essential evil of any kind of a war or any kind of a system. But the fact continues to remain that this area is going to be burning for some more time. Another issue which I wanted to highlight was that the nation why America was doing so much of things to Pakistan. They are looking probably at using Pakistan's airspace, Pakistan's strategic space, geostrategic space, and maybe Pakistan itself against the Iranians. So that is
Yes,
also
absolutely. More breaking news coming in now. The president of the UAE has received a phone call from the Saudi Crown Prince. They have discussed the regional developments in this phone conversation, we are told. So phone lines buzzing as well as we speak. Of course, Shruti Das Gupta, president of UAE, receiving this call from the Saudi prince. What do you believe was discussed? What would this phone call entail?
Well, one is the point to show solidarity. Beyond just what the conversation is happening, they're checking with each other whether they are all looking at the same goal in the end or not. Up till now, the Saudi nations, even though while they were being attacked by Iran, had decided to only take a defensive position. But somewhere I have read that Saudi Arabia has decided to put its weight behind USA and Israel in this fight now. So when Saudi Arabia makes that turn from defensive to offensive, because it has had enough, it doesn't just want to protect in the name of Ummah, in the name of Muslim solidarity, in the name of not turning this into a regional warfare, by taking the kind of hits and engaging with Iran on a defensive platform. If they decide to change that outlook, they will need the coordinated assent of all other players in the game also. So when this particular news that I read up on, when they said that Saudi is going to put its weight behind Israel and USA, it shows that the other 8-9 nations that have been impacted will slowly turn the same way. This is what that phone call says, that if UAE is asking whether are you really into the game now, are you going to play this in an offensive manner, are you going to participate in this particular war, and how much are you going to invest in it? How high are you willing to play? What are the stakes for you? When the major players fall, like when Saudi falls and UAE falls towards one side, the other nations like pretty little ducklings will follow the mama duck right into the warfare zone. What I think General Mathur sir and the others have also been saying is that by attacking all US bases but somehow missing and then getting into collateral damage, Iran has successfully made an enemy out of every single nation in the Middle East. When it does that, how long will they stay quiet? If they are not going to stay quiet, that basically means they're going to go on the offensive. And as General Mathur said, tonight is the night to watch and see how many of them turn. If Iran stops the war on the other bases, it loses its edge in the war, because if it's just Israel and USA, it's going to take a whole lot of hits. But if it is a bigger regional warfare, it can still inflict damage. So Iran cannot afford to back off, and these nations cannot keep paying a price for a war that they never called for. So this is a catch-22 situation. You will hear more Middle Eastern nations talking to each other, figuring out exactly what their path is going to be, and you'll soon hear that they will all put their weight behind USA, because that is definitely going to be the winning force in this war, no matter how many days long it goes.
Yes, absolutely. We're getting more breaking news also coming in now. In fact, on the broadcast, amidst all the reports about the Iranian commanders being killed, the Iranian Foreign Minister now, Abbas Araghchi, has released a statement. He said almost all officials are safe and alive. He's also said Iran may have lost 1 or 2 commanders, but that's not a big problem. Can we play out what Abbas Araghchi has said? Okay, I think there is some technical trouble there in that soundbite. But Ambassador Kapoor, clearly about the Iranian Foreign Minister trying to downplay these reports that senior commanders have been neutralized, saying we may have lost 1 or 2, but it's not a big deal.
Yes, I guess these are only the initial casualties at the highest levels. There will be many more in the days to come. And it will have to be seen as to at what stage, they finally sort of buckle under, or they continue to lose more and more senior people, because warfare these days has also become very ruthless in terms of attacking directly the leaders of the countries concerned. So whether they'll be able to stay safe or be attacked or be spared will also be some of the big question marks as we go ahead, further deeper into the war. So losing a few generals initially, a general or 2, is, as he has said, while it's very impactful on the morale of the IRGC, but it is not such a great decision maker in terms of turning the tide. So let us see what happens ahead, Uday.
All right. Well, meanwhile, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei will be speaking within minutes, we're told. Iran's Al-Alam TV has reported hours after the US-Israeli strikes targeted top Iranian leaders, Khamenei is to address the nation. So this comes even as the news was coming in. Major General Anuj Mathur, that contact to Khamenei was cut off, that Khamenei, of course, was underground. Amidst news that he was targeted by the strikes, the Supreme Leader of Iran to address the nation very, very shortly.
Yeah, that's exactly was the point of there which I was trying to make. That the Iranians also knew fully well that who are going to be the targets. They knew that Khamenei, after all, the war one of the main causes of this entire conflict is elimination of the regime, elimination of Khamenei and his team and IRGC leadership. So they knew that they will be struck, and because they knew they will be struck, they had been prepared to absorb this kind of an attack. And since Khamenei's house was struck, so it was probably thought that people will say Khamenei has been eliminated. That is why he has decided to come out and address the nation. It is a very clear messaging, and but you will see, Uday, that time will tell you that one, there are already many more casualties than are being accepted by Iranians in terms of the IRGC leadership, the nuclear scientists, and the political leadership of Iran. Maybe the topmost echelon, not many casualties have taken place, but there have been a defense minister is no small thing to lose a life on the day one of the offensive by the Americans. So one very clear thing which is going to come out is that Americans will use force combined with I believe there are messages, there are these things which are reaching directly the people of Iran, and they are trying to tell them. Two statements I would take your attention to. One by Mossad when they say that we'll bring back lost glory for Iran, and second one by the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu when he says that we are going to get you freedom, or some words to that effect. And even Trump said that in his whatever speech that he had given after that. So they are looking to combine this military kinetic aggression with a possible kind of uprising by the people who are not very happy with Khamenei regime within Iran, and that is a fair possibility. You see the kind of network which the Mossad and the CIA have within Iran is amazing. Is amazing, and that is the reason why they can strike with such precision that you will find that exactly the place where they wanted to strike, they struck. So the fact continues to remain that the coming days will see many more the people from the hierarchy, both political and IRGC. See, I'll tell you one more thing which we must understand. The IRGC is not Iranian army. IRGC is an army which owes its allegiance to the regime, to Khamenei and his people. So as long as their leadership is there, it will continue to become a major hindrance in elimination of the hierarchy, because they will continue to be there with them and fight for them. So that is why the political leadership and the IRGC senior leadership is going to be the main target. Uday.
Yes, now in more news that we're tracking on the broadcast, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has spoken with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. He's expressed Pakistan's strong condemnation of the dangerous regional escalation following the Israeli attack on Iran and subsequent attacks in the Gulf region. He's further stated that Pakistan stands in full solidarity with Saudi Arabia and brotherly Gulf countries in this perilous time. The Pak PM speaking with the Saudi Crown Prince. What can be drawn into this read into this conversation? Shruti Dasgupta.
Thank you so much for picking this question. I was hoping you would come back to me for this, because just before this conversation, there was another post put out by Pakistan that they have spoken to Iran as well and they stand in solidarity with them. So it is really funny to me how they can be in solidarity with everyone who's fighting amongst each other. But what basically means that they are a Muslim nation. They have been kept into the entire ummah, or that they follow the 57, 58 nations that they combine together. And there they have tried to play the peacemaker, the sympathizer, the assistance if you require kind of this thing. But the second part of that conversation is that Pakistan is in a strategic pact, defensive pact with Saudi Arabia. So in case Saudi Arabia is to be attacked, Pakistan is supposed to come back and help them fight their enemies, fight their war. It doesn't work the other way around, though Pakistan liked to pretend that it did. But in the two attacks with Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia just made a prep call and said that, okay, are you okay? Are you fine? Kind of a conversation only. But when Saudi gets attacked, Pakistan has promised to put its troop on ground to fight with the Houthis on the Yemen side. But if this attack also comes from the Iranian side, then they need to know, have to have clarity on how this particular conversation needs to go. And in my previous bite, I said that there is a possibility that that Saudi Arabia is going to put its weight behind USA and Israel, which USA is, of course, the current favorite of Pakistan. So Pakistan is very happily aligned with that particular angle. If Saudi Arabia needs force, if it needs weapons, if it needs reinforcements of any sort, Pakistan will be very happy to provide it. On the other side of it, they will happily make a phone call to Iran and convey their deepest condolences for any kind of actions that result in casualties caused by Pakistan's assistance to Saudi Arabia. So they're playing a double game here as far as the Muslim Ummah is concerned. They are siding with everybody. They are calling everybody. They are trying to present themselves as a peaceful mediator in this conversation, and also presenting their relevance. That even Iran is calling us and Saudi Arabia is calling us, and we are deeply involved in this conflict, and it's deeply hurtful to us. But for me, their role in this is as much as Saudis would permit it to be.
Okay. Meanwhile, some first-person videos are also coming in from Dubai and UAE. The video, you can see a plume of smoke rising from near the palm in Dubai. So visuals now coming in from the UAE as well. These visuals are from close to the palm in Dubai. We can clearly see how Ravi Karkara, this building is on fire. This is an attack that has taken place in Dubai now. A building on fire there close to the palm. Smoke is rising, a plume of smoke visible in this video.
I mean, you see the multiple videos, because I told you I was in Dubai and Abu Dhabi last week for work, and it's crazy the amount of messages that I've got, and I'm trying to cope up with them. But the reality is that I think when you hit Dubai into the civilian residents, including the most elite Jumeirah, the island has also been hit. It's not going to go well at all for Iran. And I think this is that call that you were asking, Shruti. What was the conversation? The conversation will be very, very decisive, because people are sick and tired from from going back to 1980 to 88 with the Iran-Iraq war. You didn't see such kind of alignment, did you? We did. I'm sure General Anuj Mathur can speak to that. We haven't seen something like this happening so quickly. Bring people coming together. It's Kuwait, it's Bahrain, it's Qatar. I mean, Qatar is aligning with Saudi Arabia, which is unheard of, right? I mean, this is Qatar and Iran. What happened right there? And now, of course, Pakistan for me is extremely irrelevant. But anyways, we know what they play. And like I said, there is a ongoing conflict between Afghanistan and Pakistan as we speak right now. I don't know what's happening to that. But really, it's when you hit a civilian life. Remember, these are countries not like Saudi Arabia, which is about 35 million, but UAE is small. Emiratis is a small population. Every life matters. It's similar to every Jew life matters. This is something which I think I hope is the last side of the although for us in India it's been difficult, right? Because we've also had great relationship with Iran in the past, but I think people are tired of not seeing that stability, because the world needs, after COVID, the world needs, after this tariff drama, we need to look at world stabilizing. So this has only made it worse. But at the other side, I think it will be from a diplomatic perspective. I'm sure Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor will definitely say that from India perspective, it will make India's position more stronger, in the long run. But of course, there will be damage in terms of the short term. So I really hope that MBS and all the other, sheikhs will take this and take quick, and they will not drag this. This is not going to be the long drawn 8 years Iran, Iraq. It will not be the post October 7th long drawn. They don't have time for this. They're all businessmen, after all. They're running businesses in each and every country. And, Dubai is coming out as the biggest. When everybody was moving to Dubai, right? And this is not going to go very well, because Dubai was becoming the peaceful. I was there with the Amar group last Tuesday, and everybody's selling, villas, condominiums. We are the most peaceful. This is not going well at all. So I think Iran will see some very decisive. And I think whether we like it or not, as Shruti said, people will align. And for USA, this is the best news. Israel is also pretty happy with the alignment now within the GCC
Yes.
and the Arab world.
Yes.
But USA, it's perfect. Exactly
Yes.
what Trump wanted.
Yes. Okay. Now, China too has released a statement on Iran and the ongoing situation. China has said that they are highly concerned over the military strikes against Iran launched by the US and Israel. Iran's sovereignty, security and territorial integrity should be respected. China calls for an immediate stop of the military actions, no further escalation of the tense situation, resumption of dialogue and negotiation, and efforts to uphold peace and stability in the Middle East. So, condemnation coming in from China. Major General Mathur, what do you make of what they've said in this statement?
You see, this was expected. You see, there's one fundamental difference in what had happened in Latin America and in Venezuela and what is happening here. Venezuela was in the backyard of United States of America. Iran is not. The Chinese stakes here are quite many Chinese stakes are there. I can tell you, both China and Russia are going to support Iran. One, diplomatically, two, in terms of some military hardware, but there is very little possibility of any one of them physically coming and fighting alongside Iran. That is one thing very, very clear. Now, there's this kind of statement which has come. It very clearly sends a message to the United States of America that, look, we are with them. We may not directly be there. One very big support which the Chinese can and are providing to Iran is real-time intelligence. If you can get real-time intelligence of the armada of the United States of America, whether it is the Abraham Lincoln or Gerald R. Ford, and if the Iranians are able to do any damage to any one of them, either wholly or even partially, it is going to be a huge humiliation for the United States of America. That's what I feel. And I am very, very sure that this kind of intelligence support and this kind of support in terms of some military hardware and some air defense equipment is going to be very, very important for the Iranians, for them to last. But one thing, what I would say, what Ravi was saying a little while ago, I go with him fully, that the Middle East will make sure that they create such situation that this thing is somehow or the other brought to some kind of an end for them.
Well, in breaking news now coming in, United Nations Security Council is to convene for an emergency session. So big breaking news coming in. The UNSC is to meet. United Nations Security Council is to convene for an emergency situation in the fallout of this strike today. Ambassador Kapoor, your first reaction to this big news coming in from the UNSC?
Well, the Russian delegation and the Chinese delegation will propose a resolution which will be vetoed by the US and some of its allies. So it's more of a statement of intent rather than of any actionable content. So that's what's going to happen at the Security Council. And later, if at all there's a possibility to get a larger sort of statement by the general body, then the President of the General Assembly will have to be approached, which is a long drawn-out affair. It's not going to be quick or easy. So it's not going to make any headway or any impact globally. Uday.
In further breaking updates now coming in, the Swiss Ministry of Foreign Affairs has also put out a statement. They've said Switzerland is deeply alarmed by the dangerous and rapidly widening escalation following the military strikes and attacks on Gulf countries and across the Middle East. They've also further called for full respect of international law, including the UN Charter. So Switzerland urging respect for the UN Charter, meanwhile saying they are alarmed and concerned with this situation. Shruti Dasgupta, reactions continue to pour in, Switzerland being the latest to put out a statement.
Well, it's funny that they say the UN Charter because according to UN Charter, Iran is in the right. It is using the Article 51 of the right of self-defense and retaliation to an military attack. Here the aggressors, according to UN, would be USA and Israel. And any action that the UNSC or any other chair is supposed to take or any other formation under UN has to take these particular precedents into view. Now, and Iran has been making these calls to to UN for a while. They've been asking for intervention. They've been asking for protection, because that's exactly what UN is supposed to be, a peacekeeping force, where it is, when peace is not done through dialogue, they should show military presence. But they've not come forth for Iran. So this doesn't, these interactions, these UN charter mentions are all just empty words right now, because no matter what action is proposed, US has veto power and it is going to veto it away,
Yes.
whether it's a sanction on Israel or
Yes.
USA.
Okay, let's leave it at that. My thanks to our guests for joining us on this broadcast. We'll continue our focus on the other side of this very short break.